In the killing fields of the Kalahari, both the hunters and the hunted have extraordinary powers to give them the best chance in life. These superpowers have created a world of indestructible weaponry, graceful agility, ingenious adaptations, and magnified senses. Exceptional abilities that catapult these animals into the realm of superheroes. The king of beasts, the mighty lion, earns its title through sheer hunting prowess. Working together, there isn't much a pride of lions cannot capture and kill. From agile mongooses to huge elephants. But it's not just teamwork that makes them prolific hunters. The lion is the only big cat capable of regularly taking down prey far larger than itself. A 1-ton buffalo versus a 270-pound lioness may not be a fair fight. But where the buffalo has huge horns to defend itself, the lioness keeps her weapons cleverly concealed. The lions get the herd on the run. To avoid being impaled, they launch their attack from behind. At the last moment, she exposes her weapons. Ten razor-sharp, curved claws. She hooks into the 2-inch thick buffalo skin, bringing this 1,000-pound beast to a standstill. For extra grip, the lioness digs her teeth in. Her bite is 30 times stronger than a domestic cat. And the gap behind the 3-inch-long canine means she can clamp down like a vice around the buffalo's spine. But the hulking buffalo is still standing. Time for the lioness to pull out the big guns. With an unshakable grip, she uses her muscular forearms to pull the beast to the ground. The equivalent of the average person trying to pull a grizzly bear off its feet. With effective weapons and super forearm strength, lions are some of Africa's deadliest hunters. They have perfected their technique to become the only big cats that are true giant killers. Another big cat on these grasslands is the cheetah. Their hunting strategy relies on a different type of muscle power. The cheetah has genetically morphed over the years to be the ultimate speed freak. Sleeker and less bulky than any lion, their muscles are built for speed rather than strength. With a reinforced skeleton, elongated legs, enlarged heart, even its head is aerodynamic. Everything comes together to make the cheetah the fastest animal on land. Flat out, they can reach speeds of 70 miles an hour. But amazingly, speed is not their real superpower. Cheetahs are usually solitary, but these two males have formed a hunting coalition. Together, they've been tracking the fastest antelope in Africa, the Sesame. It's a battle of the sprinters. Using stealth and camouflage, this cheetah gets as close as possible. But he's merely a distraction. As soon as the herd flees, his accomplice launches an ambush, revealing the cheetah's unique power, super acceleration. From 0 to 45 miles an hour in just 3 strides. His extra flexible spine acts like a spring for the back legs and stretches out to cover 22 feet in a single bound. To gain ground on the antelope, he uses his exposed claws like running spikes for maximum traction. But for speed, he has sacrificed sharpness, and blunt claws mean a less effective grip on his catch. Swinging his heavy tail like a counterweight, he can stop, turn on a dime, and try again. This time, the cheetah pair go hungry. It takes a huge amount of muscle power to generate their lightning acceleration, and they will need to recover before hunting again. Superpowers sometimes come at a cost. It's not only Africa's deadliest predators that possess superpowers. In order to evade them, prey species have their own unique set of skills and adaptations. Impala herds grazing on the open grasslands are a common sight in the Kalahari, and a tempting one to a predator. But years of predation pressure have turned these timid animals into anything but an easy catch. Their slender build and delicate legs may give the impression of vulnerability, but these are what give the impala its greatest advantage. With huge ears and eyes on the side of their head, giving them almost 300-degree vision, impala are hyper-vigilant. An approaching hungry wild dog pack pose a direct threat. The alarm is sounded. A sudden explosion of impala scattering in all directions. It's a deliberate tactic to confuse their hunters. But against wild dogs, some of nature's greatest runners, speed just isn't enough. So they also leap, and impalas take leaping to another level. Their hugely powerful thighs and flexible legs propel them gracefully into the air, giving them almost unparalleled jumping ability. In full flight, an impala can leap a distance of 33 feet and up to 10 feet high, clearing anything in its path, including the wild dogs. As they jump, high kicks release scent from glands on their ankles, leaving a trail so the scattered herd can find each other. The impala's impressive hurdling has left the wild dogs standing, outmaneuvered by their super-powered prey. Other familiar sights on the plains include the giraffe, its silhouette utterly unmistakable due to its distinctive long neck. But it wasn't always the case. One of their ancestors, 7 million years ago, had a shorter neck. So why did the giraffe develop such a long neck? Did it elongate over time so they could feed on leaves no other animal could, ensuring its survival in even the sparsest of landscapes? It is unlikely to have evolved to aid their escape from predators. And when they come to take a drink, their necks somehow don't seem long enough. Giraffes have the same number of neck bones as humans, but each vertebra is 10 inches long, containing unique ball and socket joints. This turns their neck into a highly flexible superweapon. Within a herd, the males fight for dominance. But they don't have horns to clash or claws to strike, so they use their necks instead. The tussle starts with a bit of pushing and shoving, until one makes the first move, and the battle is on. At around 6 foot long and weighing 600 pounds, the giraffe's neck acts like a wrecking ball as the males exchange violent body blows. The longer the neck, the greater the impact, with some strikes creating enough force to break bones or knock his opponents off their feet. To get mating, as well as bragging rights, winning literally means putting your neck on the line to pass on your genes to future generations. Where there are superpowers, there are often super gadgets, and the elephant has one of the best. It's not just a distinguishing feature, it's also a phenomenally useful multi-tool. A fusion of nose and top lip, an elephant's trunk contains over 100,000 muscles, giving it exceptional strength, maneuverability, and dexterity. Compare that to the paltry 600-plus muscles in the entire human body, and you get the idea how intricate this appendage is. Unsurprisingly, the longest nose in the natural world is also the most effective. An elephant has twice as many smelling genes as a dog, but they also use their trunks for grasping food, drinking. It can hold 3 gallons of water at one time, or dust. It can be used as a snorkel, a shower, a pacifier, to shake hands, or hold hands. It is so complex and has so many uses, it may take 2 years for a youngster to master. An elephant's trunk is possibly the most amazing body part in the animal kingdom. But it's not the only superpower that puts the elephant one step ahead in the fight for survival. In the Kalahari, the most elusive cat is a lone hunter. The leopard has neither the speed nor brute strength of its feline cousins. Instead, it's a master of the surprise attack. Not easy in these grasslands, where prey species are keen-eyed and wary. But the leopard has special powers to transform it into a silent assassin. First, she must locate her target. The Kalahari is a cacophony of sound. But the leopard has hearing 5 times better than the average human. With rotating concave ears to help capture sound waves, her inner ears can pick up vibrations 2 octaves above what we can hear. She can single out individual sounds from the background noise. This leopard has zeroed in on the sound of a small gaggle of geese in the distance. She focuses solely on the sound of their movements to track them in the long grass. She must not make a single sound to betray her intentions. Tufts of hair between her padded toes muffle the sound of her footfall, and shoulder blades on the side of her body allow her to slink along stealthily, just inches from the ground. She waits, silently hidden, listening for when the goose moves into the perfect position. A goose dinner will do nicely. If the leopard is a sophisticated stalker, then the jackal is the thug of the Kalahari. But there is much more to this dog-like animal than its brazen reputation would have you believe. Often seen as just scavengers, jackals actually have an enormously varied diet and do catch nearly all of their own food. From baby antelope to tiny rodents, they have cleverly perfected a different method for each meal. He may try to chase down his prey, or use his nose to sniff out scraps and fallen fruit. But if his speed or sense of smell fails to bring home the bacon, the jackal can utilize another super skill. Hidden in the long grass are thousands of tiny insects and rodents. Some are underground, some are deftly camouflaged, some move at lightning speed. The jackal cannot see them, but he can hear them. His huge funnel-like ears means that not only can he hear every tiny scratch or footstep, he can also pinpoint their location, predict their movements, and pounce. It's a useful skill to have for an easy meal with minimal effort, when all else fails. No predator has a 100% success rate when it comes to hunting, but there is one unlikely creature that comes very close. On the savannas of Botswana, lions may be hailed as rulers. and wild dogs are known as unbeatable pack hunters. But surprisingly, neither of these can claim to be nature's most successful predator. That title belongs to the dragonfly. They've been around for 300 million years, predating the dinosaurs. Back then they were huge, with a 3-foot wingspan. Now, although thankfully a great deal smaller, they are no less impressive, especially at flying. Nothing comes close to their feats of aerial dexterity. Their 4 wings operate independently, so they can fly upside down as well as backwards. They can hover in midair and have a top speed of 50 miles an hour. Combine this with another incredible superpower, and dragonflies have a 95% success rate when it comes to hunting. They can see in slow motion. We see at 60 images per second. Dragonflies see at 200, over 3 times slower. Huge compound eyes containing 30,000 lenses view the world in ultra HD. Each lens builds up a 360-degree image with 10 times more color than the human eye can register. It can track and assess an object in 0.05 of a second. Coupled with a reaction time of 30 milliseconds, that's one fast hunter. With its expert flying skills, the ability to slow down time, and the most enhanced vision in the animal kingdom, the dragonfly is nature's true superhero. Leopards also have acute visual superpowers, but they cannot see underwater. For this, they use another part of their body. And in this corner of Botswana, leopards have become adept at fishing for their supper. This leopard can tell there's fish in the water, but the water is thick with mud, obscuring her view. So instead, she dips the tips of her whiskers in the water. These long, thick hairs are attached to ultra-sensitive nerves, each one linking directly to its own location in the brain. They can detect tiny changes or movements in the water's flow, providing a tactile image of what the cat can't see. Giving those with whiskers a huge sensory advantage. The power of second sight. For other animals, there is also more to vision than meets the eye. The python is one of Africa's deadliest snakes, and it has a rather unconventional way of detecting its prey. It can smell through its tongue and see through its nose. Using its forked tongue, it tastes the air, and by picking up the floating odor particles, it can smell its prey with the roof of its mouth. This python has picked up the scent of a squirrel. A snake's poor vision is attuned mainly to movement, so the squirrel keeps dead still. But it won't work. This snake has the power to see right through its act. A crafty squirrel thinks he can outsmart this python by playing statues, but this snake is not so easily deceived. Heat-sensitive pit organs on either side of its snout register the warm blood of its prey. Mixing both visual and thermal images together, the python can pinpoint its next meal, still or not. With one gulp, the squirrel is swallowed whole. The python's power to detect body heat gives it the ability to see through any camouflage or defensive ploys, right to the beating heart of its victim. Keen eyesight is essential for hunting, but less so for scavenging. For that, you need a different sense, and a lot of bravado. Hyenas are successful pack hunters and infamous scavengers. And out of all the carnivores, they are the best equipped for it. This close-knit clan is patrolling its territory, and something has piqued their interest. Hyenas have a remarkable sense of smell. It's their primary sense, and they can sniff out a fresh kill from 2.5 miles away. Unable to resist the scent of carrion, all this thieving clan have to do is follow their nose. But out here, there's no such thing as a free lunch, and the hyenas don't yet know who they might have to fight to get their feast. The kill was made by a pair of lions, dangerous opponents. Hyenas are both clever and persistent. They know they outnumber the lions, but a fight could still be deadly. So the cocky hyenas edge gradually closer, testing the lion's tolerance. The lion gives a half-hearted warning. But it's not enough to faze the hyenas, and her lack of aggression bolsters their tenacity. Eventually, the hyenas make their move. But rather than steal the giraffe carcass, unusually, they decide to share and dine alongside an old enemy. There is not much meat left on the bones, but this does not deter them. As die-hard scroungers, hyenas are armed with all the necessary tools to consume everything that remains. Powerful jaws and unique teeth for crushing up huge bones, and specialized tendon-slicing molars. They will eat hair, hooves, and horns, leaving little that is not devoured and digested, even the rancid and the rotten. Hyenas feast on flesh so contaminated it would sicken, if not kill, a person. Putrid and maggot-infested, they turn their noses up at nothing. But hyenas have a super-strong digestive system with notoriously high levels of acidity. It destroys dangerous bacteria and can tolerate toxins without them getting sick. Their gut is also efficient, extracting the utmost nourishment from a carcass. Nothing goes to waste. Their white poop shows that all that is left is the calcium from digested teeth and bones. No other mammal has this superpower. Like hyenas, wild dogs are pack animals, where teamwork is paramount and communication is key. Wild dogs have one of the most complex vocabularies of any canine. They chatter constantly within their pack. It's a way of reinforcing bonds and establishing hierarchy. But despite being led by a dominant pair, their power is not absolute. When it comes to deciding when to hunt, the pack is a true democracy, and put it to a vote. And they vote in a very peculiar way, with their nose. It's the wet season in northern Botswana, and this pack of wild dogs has woken up hungry. At first, they rally, a form of playing and bonding. But operating as a pack, you need full-on cooperation. If one wants to turn playtime into mealtime, he needs to get everyone on board. So the pack take a vote to see who is up for a hunt. Instead of a show of hands, these dogs cast their vote another way, by sneezing. A low number of sneezes means the motion is not carried. But with a majority vote, the hunt is on. The pack pick up the scent trail of a water buck herd, one of the slowest and heaviest antelopes. But the water buck have an escape plan. They run towards the water, which hinders the dog's pursuit. The dogs have failed this time. They'll take another vote to decide whether to hunt again. A sense of smell isn't only for finding food. Many animals also use scent to send messages. Glands all over their bodies give off pheromones, odors that act like tags, revealing the marker's identity their status and rank, marking out a territory for intruders, and even seduction. In a deliberate act of subversion, this wild dog is rolling in feces to disguise his own scent and masquerade as a hyena. Interactions between animals aren't always so subtle. The savanna is full of the sounds of vocal exchanges. A male lion asserting his dominance, or an owl searching for a mate. A mother calling to her cubs, while a mongoose rallies his gang. A warm greeting or a warning. Kudu antelope have big ears, all the better to hear predators approaching with. But some predators are not so easily heard. A tiny treetop lookout has their back. His warning is unmistakable. kudu have the last laugh, leaving the leopard to slope off hungry. Understanding the languages of the savannah can be the difference between life and death. But some predators don't have to chase down their prey. They sit and wait for it to be delivered. A spider spins a trap and lies in wait for its food to fly in. The intricate web is ingeniously designed to lure insects into its sticky end folds. The silk's flexibility is its strength. It can stretch under impact to cradle its quarry, but becomes rigid and breaks easily if poked. Both resilient and delicate, a spider's web is also tuned like a musical instrument, even though the spiders have no ears. Despite having 8 eyes, this orb-weaving spider is incredibly nearsighted and unable to see if its web has ensnared a meal. Instead, it listens to its web and hears it through its legs. By using claws on the end of its limbs, it plucks each silk strand like a violin. The sound vibrations created by each thread carries information about where and what type of prey has hit the web. Handy to be forewarned if it's a potentially dangerous catch. It mummifies the caterpillar in silk before transporting it to its gruesome pantry. Having a stockpile for leaner times is something few animals here can rely on. Most hunt around the clock. And when the day ends, it is the species with the power to see in the dark that own the night. Fearsome hunters by day, lions become even more threatening when night falls. Like most cats, they have superior night vision, and lions are particularly adept nocturnal hunters. This pride has their eyes set on a baby elephant. The elephants can smell and hear how close they are, and do everything they can to ward off the enemy. Then, an even bigger meal arrives. This hippo has spent the day submerged in water, but has come out to feed, blind to the danger it is walking into. Lions use any faint light given off by the moon and amplify it using light-sensitive cells and a reflective layer in their eyes. The distinctive white stripe around their eye also aids night vision by bouncing light back into the eyeball. Despite their huge visual advantage over the hippo, this 6,000-pound male is an aggressive opponent. The pride has met its match. If enhanced senses aren't enough, then an additional extra sense is required to find food during tougher times. The Kalahari is an extreme and brutal place. During the dry season, the landscape is parched. The vegetation that supports over 25 different species is scorched by the sun and turns to dust. This herd of wildebeest must find fresh grass. And their continual search for rainfall is driven by an apparent sixth sense. Wildebeest can sense a thunderstorm from 30 miles away. Attuned to the minute changes in air pressure, their ability to recognize the subtle changes in weather triggers an exodus of an epic scale. As thousands of wildebeest follow the scent of life-saving water and new grass across Africa. It is this extra, super sense that has helped wildebeest to become one of Africa's most abundant species. From the biggest to the smallest, every animal has found their unique and ingenious superpower to keep them one step ahead of the game in one of the wildest places on Earth. Africa's deadliest have superpowers a superhero can only dream of.